Alright, good afternoon everyone. So welcome to your first live stream of my lecture. Now I'm doing this live stream is because I've already missed two lessons with you guys last week and this week due to my MC. And if you can see clearly from this particular image that's in front of you, I have shingles, but I should be well enough to return to college tomorrow. Alright, so forgive me for this rather unconventional teaching method, but I really cannot afford to miss any more classes, especially for you guys. Alright, the rest of them I have already talked until the next one, which is KM Tools and Technology, but for you guys, because I missed it last week, so I'm going to be doing this live lecture just for you guys. Alright, and if you want to catch up on the next topic, you can basically click on the link or go to my YouTube channel, the one that you can see here, and click live stream lectures and just click on seminar 9. Alright, so you can properly catch up with your with the lesson that's supposed to be delivered this week. Now, since it's a live lecture, I cannot be there to give you some group activities that I intend to let you guys do. So this lecture is going to be quite fast, alright, quite fast. It will end a little bit, a lot earlier than usual. It's a lot shorter than usual. So instead of a normal 3-hour lecture with breaks in between, I'm just gonna go as fast as I can, and hopefully you guys can catch up. Alright, the wonders about this live lecture is even if you are not watching this live at the moment, you can still replay back that particular this live stream whenever you can, alright, in your own spare time, right? Because it's gonna get archived by YouTube and you guys can view it whenever you like, right? So basically, how it's gonna work for a live stream is this. If you have not seen a live stream before, you can interact with me live, okay, on the chat down below, alright? So you can just, any questions that you have regarding the topic or any explanation that you want for me to re-explain again, you can put it down in the chat, okay, and I will try my best to answer your questions. And if you have any questions regarding your assignments, you can put it there as well. Alright, so now let's just get a bit of lowdown what I want to do today. Today I'm going to be doing knowledge, KM strategies and value. I'm going to finish that topic, okay, and not only that, I will be opening up a chance for you guys to ask regarding your assignment. And what I'm going to do next week is this. Now since this week's lecture or seminar 9 has already been is already uploaded to live stream, so you can view it at home. And I'm not going to waste any more of your time, and I want to let your group be on the same level as the rest of the other groups. So what I'm going to do next week is this. Okay, I'm going to open up a chance for you guys to ask any questions regarding today's topic and the next topic, which is KM Tools and Technology. And after I have answered all of the questions, I'm gonna be splitting you guys into your groups, and I'm gonna be giving you your sample exam questions to do. Each group will do one, and then we're gonna come back and then we're gonna discuss, and I'm gonna give my feedback to it. Okay, I'm also gonna show you the rubrics on how it is done. And next 2 weeks, which will be your presentation week for your assignment, and next 3 weeks will be your final week, basically. Alright, so we're heading into the end of our lecture and before your final exam. So yeah, it's very fast. Okay, so without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Alright, with today's topic. So forgive me, it's gonna get a little bit strange at this point. Alright, so today's topic is gonna be about KM strategy and value. Now, KM strategy I've talked about 2 weeks ago, so it's basically just a more detailed version of what I've talked about 2 weeks ago. And today I'm going to focus on KM value. Alright, so I'm just going to bring you through KM strategy very, very fast. I'm going to give a few examples here and there. Alright, you can read it on your own, you can just Google everything on your own, but I'm going to talk about KM value. Now, the purpose of this particular topic, alright, is for you to tell your stakeholders the value of KM. What is KM worth? Is it worth to do KM? Alright, is it worth it to invest in knowledge management and to make sure that all of the talents are pulled together to encourage knowledge sharing? Because as you know, as you may have found out by now, establishing COPs, looking at KM systems, establishing new practices, new habits, encouraging SECI is all resource intensive. Alright, it is it is something that is a little bit troublesome to implement to companies, and then they need to set up a new department, they need to hire a CKO, they need to hire a CLO. Sometimes it's just not economically viable for them. That's why sometimes they just push KM aside and they say, okay, HR can take over that job. Alright, but as you may have found out by now, alright, KM is a little bit different from HRM. Alright, it can be merging with HRM a little bit. Basically, they're the same, alright, on some aspects, but KM differs it in a little bit. I mean, it differs a little bit from there. Alright, so I'm gonna be teaching you, or I'm gonna be telling you how to measure KM, how to measure the effects of these KM strategies, and thus put a value to it so you can tell your stakeholders how important it is. Okay, so let's just start. Now today I'm going to be doing two things, as I said before, KM strategy and KM metrics or KM value. Okay, KM strategy is what do we hope to achieve. This one you've done it 2 weeks ago, so I'm just going to be diving deep into it a little bit more, and gonna be explaining some key parts, right? Especially the analysis gap, the need analysis gap, the 4 things that you guys need to do, all right? The investment part of it, and the KM metrics, the return of investment, or how to calculate KM value from there. Alright, so let's take a look at KM strategy. As you may found out 2 weeks ago, alright, is to answer the why and so what questions regarding our KM. Why are we doing this? So what if we do this? Alright, what are we going to do, alright, in order to encourage KM? Alright, this is what KM strategy is for. Planning, strategize, or to come up with a strategy, or to come up with a process in order for a company to manage the knowledge or talent pool well. Remember, we're focusing on human capital right here. Alright, so there are basically 3 approaches right here. Bottom up, alright, from the grassroots, you can target from your employees onwards, down up. Alright, employees first, then management, then top CEOs. You can do it like that, or top down. Alright, the knowledge sharing comes from the top, which is your CEOs, okay, your stakeholders, your shareholders, your chairman, your president, and to go down from there. Alright, just about what Tony Fernandez is doing at the moment. And middle out. Alright, from the middle, it branches out. Alright, so you have the managers, okay, you have your managers, you have your supervisors in the middle. Alright, they are the ones who will share knowledge to the bottom, and they will impart the knowledge further up. This is the 3 things that you can focus on. Alright, remember, if any questions you'd like to ask me, please comments down below. Alright, so this is the KM strategy framework, PTOP. You can look at it from a people's perspective, tools, organization, and process. Alright, so before we actually start planning our KM strategy, you have to know, okay, you have to research on the requirements of the particular company. What are they looking for? Okay, your average company, or your normal company only focuses on this few. Your so-called normal companies, okay, generic companies, they only focus on these 4, which is company growth, okay, corporate growth, corporate stability, corporate renewal, generic competitiveness. Alright, I'm going to take one example for you guys, is TM. Okay, if you look at TM, okay, the services are not really that good. But why? Why is it that their services is not that good, but they're still the dominant, okay, player in the internet service provider industry? Because they monopolize. Alright, so if you take a look at TM as a company, alright, they are not innovative at all. Why? Okay, they only focus on growth. They want to focus on penetration. Alright, so they focus on monopolizing the market and to spread out the services as far as they could. And they want to be stable, so they give you a plan that you're satisfied with, even though it's expensive, but they're the only one who can offer this type of service, so they're stable in that sense. Alright, and then corporate renewal, every about 2 years or so, they'll come up with a new promotion, come up with a new package to entice people not to switch, because the contract is about 2 years. Again, the contract's about 2 years, so they will come up with a new product to make you renew a particular contract for 2 more years down the road. Alright, and they're basically not very competitive. They're competitive in a sense, but they're not really that competitive. Not like all of the other telcos out there. Alright, so but modern companies, modern companies or truly innovative companies, they will focus on either one or more of these three, which is either innovation, cost reduction, or quality improvement. Now, these three, depending on what they choose or what you determine for them, will change your KM strategy, will change your HR strategy, will change everything regarding your KM, as you're going to see later on. What are they targeting for? If they're going for innovation, the KM strategy will change. The way they share knowledge, the way they incorporate knowledge, the way they encourage knowledge movement, it's going to be quite different than if they're going for cost reduction or quality improvement, because the types of knowledge shared or the types of COP created will be vastly different according to each of these categories. So far, so good at the moment. Good, let's move on. Now, BTOPP, is the one that I talked about 2 weeks ago. When you are when you're devising a strategy for your KM, focus on these 5: benefit, tools, organization, processes, and people, as represented right here. First of all, ask yourself. Get the company to ask themselves, or you ask, what are they getting value? Are they getting value from KM? Is the KM strategy that you've planned for them in your assignment going to be beneficial for them in any way? How is it going to help them? And do they have the tools to perform KM? If let's take for example the mochi auntie down the road. It's impossible or it's impractical for you to suggest for them to have a KM tool or KM software for them to transfer the tacit knowledge on how to make mochi. It's just improbable. Alright, so what are the tools available for them which are realistic, which are realistic for them to implement? And does the organization support KM? Do they have a good COP environment? Do they have a good knowledge sharing environment for them to do KM? And what do they have existing KM processes in place? What are the current things they are doing right now in order to share knowledge? Alright, and are the employees, are the people ready for KM? Alright, so these are some of the things that you need to ask when you are doing your assignment or when you are doing your interview next time. Alright, so some of the examples you can read by yourself right here, like personal motivation, benefits, alright, repository, new roles, responsibilities, identify and validate. All of this you can read and research on your own. Alright. So as I said before, if your company strategy is for this, is on this 3: innovation, cost reduction, quality improvement, right? Your KM strategy and KM management strategies or KM objectives will change, as can be seen right here. Alright, so if the company that you're interviewing focuses on innovation strategy, focuses on innovation, this is how your KM strategy should be. What should the employee do? What should the employee do? What should the HRM do? What should the HR do? These are the different strategies or roles and responsibilities that you can use. Alright, same goes to quality enhancement. Alright, you can read by yourself, and if there are any questions, please drop it in the comments down below. I'm reading the chat at the moment. So far, nobody has have any questions yet, but it's okay. Alright, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email or WhatsApp. Alright, or WhatsApp me, or you can even come to see me in your own free time. Alright, tomorrow I'll be in college already, so you can ask me by then. Next is cost reduction. Alright, how to decrease wastage. For this, I'm going to illustrate an example of Mungcha. Or Cool Block, let's say. Let's say Cool Block right now, they're hemorrhaging money. They're not making as much money as they like last time. And then they are figuring out a KM strategy. How to share, how to share knowledge on how to reduce cost. Because they know that they are hemorrhaging money. So they ask the staff, how do you ideas on how to reduce cost? Let's say there's the recipe calls for 5 cups of ice, and 2 scoops of the flavoring, 2 scoops of the flavoring or whatever it is, and every time they blended it up, they will have a lot of surplus of the drinks in which they just throw away. Alright, so if the employee is aware of this, will the employees have an avenue to share this particular knowledge on how to reduce costs? If they do, then they have a KM strategy. If they don't, then these are some of the things they can do. These are the KM strategies that you can implement in order for them to save costs. So far, so good. So far, there are 2 people who are watching at the moment. Any questions at this point? Nope. Good. So innovation strategy are the same. Okay, so these are the practices to support strategy here, and for all these three, you can read it by yourself. So I gotta apologize for this squeaky chair right here. My chair is a little bit old, and the shingles rashes is a little bit itchy, but it's okay. All right. So these are the different practices to support strategy that you have here. All right. So you can read it by yourself and just Google it by yourself, and if you don't understand, just ask. All right. So this is the this is the case study done by, it's in your book already. This particular case study is in your book if you're writing the World Bank. Okay, so you can read it by yourself and you can see what are the different strategies that the World Bank is trying to use and what are the KM stuff that they are doing at this moment. All right. So this is the things in Australia. Of course, you can read it by yourself. So these are the different KM strategy steps that I've talked about 2 weeks ago. Alright, so you can, I'm going to just briefly go through every single one of them. So let's see these two. Okay, understanding business objectives and addressing KM issues and need for a KM solution. Number one, you have to, before you come up with a KM strategy for that company, you need to understand what the company's objectives are. Sometimes the company's objectives just goes beyond just making money. Alright, of course, if you go and ask any companies out there, they will just say that, oh, my objective is to make money. But it is deeper than that usually. Alright, sometimes like Kublog is for them to have brand awareness, alright, or Gongcha to have brand awareness for people to, or they want to encourage a sustainable business style or sustainable business strategy, who knows. Alright, so you need to identify the business objective and describe the KM issues. What are the issues surrounding the KM? What are the issues surrounding the human capital problem? Okay, and the need for a KM solution. It's not just sales problem, it's not just marketing problem, it's about human capital. How are they retaining the talent? How are they retaining that particular knowledge that is shared among everyone? Are they losing knowledge to other people? Alright, so these are some of the issues that you have to deal with. So let's look at this one by one. Alright, so these are the different strategies, alright, or the different objectives. Alright, since in Australia they have this healthcare services over there, so VU has given you this example. Now for healthcare, it's not just to save life. Alright, in Australia they have these 5 different objectives. Alright, to actively pursue quality performance, to attain sustainability, to create learning, teaching and research culture, alright, encourage service innovation or engage our community. Now I want to emphasize on sustainability right here. This is a very big word. Alright, this is a very big word in KM. Now just a tip for your assignment, by the way, for your long-term goal or even your short-term goal, they are very big on this word sustainability. Alright, if the strategy that you propose is not sustainable, it's not going to be sustainable down the road. It's gonna fail, or it's not going to carry itself out somewhere down the road. Your assignment will get a very low mark. Okay, one of the criterion there is actually the sustainability of the solutions that you provide. Alright, VU, they're very big on this sustainability thing. Alright, even in your final exam. So just keep note of this thing. How can your KM solution be sustainable? Even if you've gone away, even if the person who initiates the KM strategies have resigned, are these strategies going to sustain itself? Are these strategies going to actively be productive down the road? This is what sustainability actually is. It's not just you implement one strategy and you run away. No. How sustainable can it be? Can it stand by itself? Can it continuously provide knowledge sharing and learning for them? This is what sustainability in KM is about. So make sure in your assignment, when you're doing your short-term, long-term goal, you are able to look at sustainability. Alright, so engage our community. So to support the achievement of these strategies, KM strategy plan should be aligned to this view. These are the objectives. So what are your KM objectives should align to all this as well. Clear? Clear? Any questions so far? No? Good. Let's move on. So next is the KM audit, is to take a look at what are the existing KM knowledge, KM strategies that they do have, or KM tools that they have at the moment, or what kind of knowledge they have, what kind of skills they have at the moment, and what are they lacking, and you do an analysis for them, okay, or gap analysis is step 5. Alright, so this is an example of a KM audit, and these are some of the KM audit questions that you can ask. task. Okay, I've already talked about this in class 2 weeks ago, so I'm just gonna zoom right past it. Alright, is to conduct a knowledge audit. It's the first step in conducting a KM strategy, because you need to identify what sort of knowledge they have already and what sort of knowledge that they are lacking. Okay, so these are the KM audit strategies, the KM audits that you need to know. Okay, so it should address knowledge capture, codification, creation, knowledge sharing, dissemination, and knowledge reuse. What do they currently have? Alright, so the questions, you can find it in your book. Okay, these are some of the things from 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. Alright, and KM objectives. Alright, so to formulate an objective is to support and enhance this existing knowledge process. What is your KM trying to do? Okay, what is your KM's objective? What is the end goal of your KM strategy or your KM the things that you're planning to do with your KM? What is the end goal of it all? Alright, so you can operationalize KM goals into objectives, coordinate KM goals with existing goals, and break down into departments. Different departments have different KM goals, or to ensure all goals are measurable. These are some of the best practices that you can put in KM goals and formulation. Alright, I talked about this 2 weeks ago. And next is the gap analysis. Now, gap analysis somewhere is what you have and what you don't have, and how we're going to get that. Alright, so what you have is here. What are the current knowledge that they have is here. What do they need but they don't have? Okay, and how are they going to do, or how are they going to get there? Alright, and it will lead to business process re-engineering. So let's take a look at this particular one in more detail. Alright, so gap analysis, I talked about this 2 weeks ago, but I want to highlight here. Okay, I want to highlight this particular thing right here. So take a look at this. Okay, these are some of the functions that they have, or the knowledge that they currently have or need at the moment. Alright, so these are all the different knowledge that they have, or not only they have and they need all the possible knowledge that which are relevant to that particular industry or to that particular company. All. Okay, and then you do a checklist like that. Alright, is this particular knowledge, do they have it? No. And what are the requirements of it? Okay, do they require it ASAP? Yes. Priority. Okay, priority is 3 and the gap is moderate. Now the numbering here I will explain later on, and this is the knowledge that they have. Okay, these are the knowledge that they currently need, and is of high importance. Right, so number 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 is not so important, not so important right there. 2 is kind of important. Number 3 is important but can wait. 4 is super important, cannot wait. So how do you come up with this particular this particular thing right here? So I'm going to be I'm just going to take one paper and illustrate for you guys. So are you guys familiar with this particular chart? Okay, this particular chart, if you can see. All right, this is important, not important. Okay, this is urgent. Okay, not urgent. Okay, are you familiar with this grid? Those of you who are watching at the moment, are you familiar with this grid? Sorry, let's just zoom into the camera for a while. Are you guys familiar with this grid? This grid. If you're familiar, then you have to analyze it properly. Alright, you have to analyze it properly. Which are important, which are urgent, and which one are not important but urgent, and which are urgent but not important. Alright, or something like that. Alright, so for something that is important and urgent, okay, important, urgent is priority number 4. Okay, priority number 4. And something that is not important but urgent, priority number 3. Something that is important, okay, important but not urgent is number 2, and something that is not important and not urgent is number 1. So you use this, okay, so you use this particular grid to do your analysis right there. Alright, so what are the knowledge that are important, okay, which are important and urgent, important but not urgent, urgent but not important, okay, and not important and not urgent, and classify them under these 4. Get it so far? The 4 people who are watching, are you okay? Good. So this is how you should be doing your gap analysis. What they have, what they require, and what are the priorities. Labeling 1, 2, 3, 4. So how the numbering will differ according to the 4 charts that the 4 things I have right there. Important for your assignment. Okay. So any questions for those 4 who are working? For those 4 who are watching at the moment? Nope. Good. So let's just go into the last part, which is recommending a short-term and a long-term strategy. Short-term 1 year, long-term 3 to 5 years. All right. So this is the roadmap that you use. All right. These are the things that you can follow. This is the template that you can follow for your assignment. All right. And recommendation. All of these things you can read by yourself. All right. Some of the examples, short-term, like short-term strategies are like, okay, put COPs and whatnot. So these are some of the examples that you can use. And next, I'm going to go into KM value. Going to be very fast. Alright, but before I move on, any questions so far? No, so far 4 of you are watching at the moment. 4 of you. Any questions? Questions? No questions. Good. So let's just go. Now, why do we need to measure KM strategy? Now, number 1 is to prove our KM initiative is fulfilling its objectives and creating value, that it is actually working. All right, because your stakeholders, your CEOs are all pumping money into KM. All right, so you gotta make sure that they know the value of KM. You need to convince the management and stakeholders the value of KM. If you spend 50,000 ringgit on a KM system, but it's only going to bring you profit of about 10% every month, it's not going to be cost effective. You might as well don't implement KM at all. Alright, so you gotta measure the effectiveness of your KM in order for it to in order for your stakeholders and management to see that it is worth it to implement knowledge management, and to refine the project by providing regular feedback to identify areas for improvement, change, or adaptation. Alright. So what do you want to measure? Number 1 is meaningful measures related directly to specific targets and objectives. Remember your KM objectives. Alright, you have to measure how successful your KM objectives actually are. How does it align with your business objective, and does it have a critical success factor? What is your KPI regarding it? Alright, so KM measures should tie in with critical success factors of the project, the KPIs of the project. So if the KM contributes directly to the KPI, alright, you will know that the KM strategy that you have implemented is valuable, and needs to have a clear understanding of your goals before you choose your metrics. Now, this metrics that I'm talking about right here is very much research. So if you still remember Mr. Sim's class, alright, or your research class, your quantitative, your qualitative, and your mixed methods, alright, in this chapter, you should be able to use it quite well. Alright, and measurements have a varying levels of informativeness. Some will give you more information, some will give you less information. If you do surveys, you'll get like less information compared to if you do COPs. Okay, because COPs you can do directly through interview. Alright, so you can measure the effectiveness of the particular COP. Alright. Now, who are we measuring? You can measure 3 people. Okay, you can measure basically 3 groups of people. Number 1, you can measure program funders. Alright, whoever is giving you. Sorry, for who are we measuring? Well, we are measuring for who. Okay, why are we doing this? Doing this measuring, and for who? Number 1 is for our program funders. Okay, program funders, those people who give, who pump, who invest money into the company. Alright, so it is to show them that this strategy, okay, this strategy is making them money. This particular this KM field is improving their company. And next, they are the managers, for them to adopt the KM strategies. And last is for the different employees and participants. Because if you share knowledge, okay, hi Joshua, okay, hi. So if you share knowledge, okay, if you share knowledge with your, if the employees themselves have a very good knowledge sharing practice, okay, they're going to benefit the company, yes, but the employees themselves do benefit as well, all right, because these are all skills, okay, these are all tacit skills, these are all explicit skills in which they can learn and enhance. So even if they end up leaving the company, all right, they will be equipped with all this different knowledge that they have acquired inside the company, so they're more marketable outside. So everybody benefits from KM, from your stakeholders, from your shareholders, from your investors, to your managers, even to your employees. So this, everybody benefits from it. So how do we let people see the benefits? We have to measure them. We have to give KM a value. So far so good? Good. Now, when should we measure? Basically, if you implement a KM project, basically there are 4 different phases for you to do. Now your assignment is only up to pre-planning, okay, it's only up to here pre-planning. But if you have a KM consultancy company, all right, there are KM consultants out there who are doing KM for different companies, because as you know, if you want to do KM in a company, you have to make extra effort. Some companies just don't have the time or the resources to do so. So what they do is this: they outsource their KM to this KM consultant companies, all right? And what this companies actually does is to go in and, like your assignment, to find out, to interview them at the pre-planning stage. And if the particular boss is happy with the report or with the proposal, all right? So you go into this startup phase. This is where they will give you money. Okay, this is where they'll give you money in order to do your particular project, and you will actually implement a few of your strategies, and you measure the growth and expansion right here. So you should start measuring at the pilot phase, right here itself. You should start measuring already. All right, although some metrics can be useful in a startup phase to garner support and keep people motivated, but most people will start it at the pilot projects. It's only fair, okay? It's only fair. Alright, now, are we stable enough to measure? Not all companies are in a situation that you can implement KMs directly, okay, and measure them straight away. Not all, alright? Because sometimes if you propose a KM strategy for them, if you propose a KM solution for them, they might not be able to implement it due to funding issues, due to change in culture, due to change in leadership. So it is not fair to measure your KM effectiveness at this particular point. And these are some of the different situations in which you don't measure the successfulness of your KM. Number 1 is funding for programs. Number 2 is change in leadership, change in strategy, health and safety programs, organizational culture, employee commitment and engagement, restructuring, right, leadership and management, internal policies and procedures change. Alright, so you don't measure during this point. It's not fair. Alright, if you measure at this point, you will find out that your KM strategy is very messy. Okay, and nobody's gonna buy into it. All right, you're gonna measure up a failure. So you gotta be fair to everyone. All right, before you measure them. Clear? So now I see the watch rate has dropped to 3, but it's okay. All right, for those of you who missed this particular live lecture, you can watch it at home if you want to. Okay, no questions? I'll move on. Now, how do we measure? We have 2 ways of measuring: quantitative and qualitative. All right, quantitative, they are measurements regarding data, okay, statistical data, numerical data. Okay, you can hand out questionnaires, you can do surveys. All right, so the pros of this is that it provides concrete evidence. All right, your stakeholders would love to see these numbers. Or it's on a spreadsheet, it's on a graph form. All right, so you can see direct results more directly and more concrete, all right, in a sense. The disadvantage of doing quantitative is that it is problematic demonstrating the value of intangible results of KM, like tacit knowledge. It's been a problem right from the beginning. How do we measure tacit knowledge? And how do we measure the success of tacit knowledge? Something that quantitative just cannot measure. Alright, if you want to measure tacit knowledge, you have to do qualitative measurements. Qualitative measurements are like interviews, alright, narrative analysis, focus groups. These are the different things that you can use to measure qualitatively. But it is more difficult to convince stakeholders. Alright, it is good for measuring tacit knowledge, but it is not really effective of convincing your stakeholders that it actually works, because stakeholders, they like to see graphs, they like to see numbers. Alright, so if you don't have a graph, you don't have a numbers for them, so they might not buy into the KM ideas that much. So the key here is to strike a balance. Alright, so like quantitative data, examples of indicators can be the number of users, hit downloads, available numbers of available knowledge products, okay, domains of expertise covered in expertise locator, and qualitatives like perceived value, okay, time saved, alright, through your interview data and whatnot. So far so good? Good. Now what happens if we want to do quantitative and qualitative at the same time? Alright, so this is what we go into anecdotal measurement. Anecdotal measurement is a hybrid between qualitative and quantitative, the best of both worlds. Usually it comes in the form of a serious anecdote, alright, a story that has a lesson learned, a punchline to it, and is excellent for capturing context of a particular piece of knowledge and carries a quantitative measurement to them. So you have your qualitative data combined with your quantitative data together to call to be an anecdotal measurement technique or an anecdotal method for this. So far so good? Good. Now, how should we collect data? You can build it into IoT systems, you can do surveys, you can do interviews, you can do focus groups, financial analysis and whatnot. Alright, so these are all different internal analysis sources of info. These are all the different examples you can read, okay. We do have a human management information resource system. I showed you this last time, what Sunway uses, exit survey, new starter survey, all of this stuff, okay, you can just research online and it's already in your book, alright? And how do we analyze results? You can do this. What are your KM initiative? What are your KPIs? Okay, what are your own measurements of it? Okay, and what are the outcomes? What are the results? And then there are more, alright? Three things that you can measure. First, number one is the outcome metrics. Okay, output metrics and system metrics. Okay, you can measure between these three. Outcome metrics is the result. Okay, is the result. And output metrics is your own way of analyzing it, is your method of collecting data. And last is key system, which is your KPIs. Right? So you can measure it in these three different ways. Alright, so this is the example of what is the worth. Alright, so this example is really in your book. Okay, so you can read it to understand it. And these are some of the samples that you can do. Now, keep in mind that this is for your own knowledge. It's not for your assignment. Alright, so it's when you go out to work, you can do this template. What is the purpose? What is the project name? Alright, the purpose is your KM objectives. Your organization name, project time frame, your inputs. What did you do? Okay, what are the inputs? What are the knowledge that you need to be shared or learned? Okay, what are the different activities? What strategies have you done? What are the outputs? Okay, what are the outputs? What are the KPIs? And what are the outcomes? What are the results? And what are the long terms? And then the indicators right here. This is something that you can do. Alright, and some recommendations. Okay, this one you can read on your own. And this is an example of Accenture. Okay, Accenture uses KM quite a lot, and this is the how they measure them. You can do benchmarking as well. Benchmarking is basically setting yourself, okay, as a benchmark, or using other people as a benchmark, as a measure for you to measure yourself against. Like I said, Starbucks do this. Okay, and am I going to top Starbucks at this point? Alright, so this benchmarking, and this is a balanced score sheet method. Okay, you can read from your book. Okay, objective metrics, targets, initiatives, example as well. Another template for you to know. Okay, and these are all in your book, benefits of COP to individuals and whatnot. Okay, and these are some of the additional references in which you can do. And that's it for today. As I said before, it's going to be a short lecture. It's about 40 minutes. Okay, it's about 40 minutes into my lecture, and because this is a live stream, so I cannot give you more examples, or you cannot ask questions, or there are no activities for me to do. But use this extra time if you're in class, or if you're not in class, you're watching this at home. Use this extra time to work on your assignment, because next week I'm going to be doing your exam revision, and next 2 weeks is your presentation. Alright, so you gotta work on your assignment really fast. Alright, so for those of you who are still waiting for my letter, I'm gonna generate it as soon as I can. Okay, but try your best to go to the company without the letter first. Okay, I'm going to be emailing you the letters if you've requested for it by tonight. And if you're still waiting for my feedback on your questionnaire, please do send me a reminder because I'm on NC for almost 2 weeks, so I may have forgotten certain things. Right? So if you have any questions regarding the assignment, please feel free to drop me a message on Facebook, on WhatsApp, or even in the live chat if you still have time. Alright? So that's it. Any questions at this point? So if there are no questions, therefore I thank you. Thank you for participating in this live stream, alright, of lecture. It's very short, but I hope that it is meaningful and you have learned something from it, alright? So thank you so much. I'll see you guys again next week, alright? See you.